Admiral Kyungjae stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the endless stars through the main viewing screen. His gray uniform bore the golden marks of the Velthari Empire, symbols that meant power and fear across 1,000 worlds. For 300 years, no one had dared to challenge the Empire. Today felt like any other day. The bridge was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers. Captain Nari sat at her station, checking the patrol route on her screen. Communications Officer Hyunbin listened to empty space radio signals. Weapons Specialist Soyeon kept watch on the weapon systems. Everything was normal in the Outer Rim territories. "Sir, all ships report ready," Nari said without looking up. "We have 12 destroyers in formation. The patrol route will take us through sectors 7 through 12. Kyungjae nodded. These patrols were routine now. The Empire had crushed every species that tried to fight them. Most worlds surrendered before the first shot was fired. The few that didn't fight became examples for others. Fear kept the galaxy in line. "Any new reports from intelligence?" Kyungjae asked. "Nothing important, sir," Hyunbin replied. "Some minor trading disputes on Kepler 4. A small mining accident on Tau Station. The usual things." Kyungjae walked to the center of the bridge. At 50 years old, he had seen many battles. He remembered when the Zephyrian Collective tried to rebel 15 years ago. That war lasted only 3 weeks. The Empire's technology was too advanced, their weapons too powerful. No one could match them. "Sir," Soyeon called out suddenly. "I'm getting strange readings on the long-range sensors." Nari turned to look at her screen. "What kind of readings?" "There's a massive energy signature appearing in Sector 9. It's impossible, sir. The readings show something huge materializing from empty space." Kyungjae frowned. "Check the sensors again. Equipment problems happen." Soyeon's fingers moved quickly over her controls. "No, sir, the sensors are working fine. All 12 ships are detecting the same thing." "There's definitely something there." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew that materializing from empty space was impossible. The Empire had the best technology in the galaxy. Their scientists said it couldn't be done, yet the sensors didn't lie. "Put it on the main screen," Kyungjae ordered. The star field changed to show sensor readings. A large object appeared on the screen, growing bigger as they watched. The computer tried to analyze what it was seeing. "Sir, the computer says it's a ship," Nari reported. "Length approximately 2 kilometers. Width 800 meters. Mass readings are..." "This can't be right. It says the ship masses as much as our 3 largest dreadnoughts." Kyungjae stared at the readings. In 3 centuries, the Empire had never seen anything like this. "What species built it?" "Unknown, sir. The design doesn't match anything in our databases. The hull appears to be some kind of metal we've never seen before. And, sir, there are weapon ports all along the hull. Lots of them." The mystery ship hung in space like a sleeping giant. Its hull was dark gray with strange markings along the sides. The design was unlike anything the Velthari had ever encountered. It had smooth curves mixed with sharp angles, like someone had tried to make it beautiful and deadly at the same time. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," Hyunbin announced. "Put it through." Static filled the bridge speakers. Then came sounds that made no sense. The universal translator worked on all known languages, but these sounds were completely new. "The translator is having problems," Hyunbin said. "It's trying to learn the language, but it needs more data." More sounds came through the speakers. Slowly, the translator began to make sense of some words. Finally, a clear voice spoke in Galactic Standard. "This is Captain Minjae of the Earth Defense Force vessel Indomitable. You are in violation of Terran space. Withdraw immediately." The bridge crew looked at each other in confusion. Earth, Terran? No one had ever heard these words before. "Captain Minjae," Kyungjae spoke into his microphone. "This is Admiral Kyungjae of the Velthari Imperial Fleet. You are in Empire space. Identify yourselves immediately." "Admiral, you are mistaken. This system belongs to the Terran Defense Zone. You have no authority here. Begin your withdrawal now." Kyungjae felt his anger rising. No one spoke to the Empire this way. "Listen carefully, alien. The Velthari Empire controls this entire sector. We have crushed every species that dared to challenge us. You will surrender your vessel immediately or we will take it by force." There was a long pause. When the voice came back, it sounded calm but somehow more dangerous. "Admiral, I suggest you reconsider your position. Your ships are outmatched. This is your only warning." Kyungjae laughed. "Outmatched? I have 12 destroyers. You have 1 ship, no matter how big it is. You will surrender or you will be destroyed." "Sir?" Nari whispered. Maybe we should call for reinforcements. We don't know anything about their technology. Reinforcements? Kyungji turned to glare at her. Against one ship? The Empire doesn't run from unknown aliens. He turned back to the microphone. Alien vessel, you have 30 seconds to lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. If you refuse, we will open fire. I see diplomacy has failed, came the reply. Very well, Admiral. You have forced this choice. The human ship began to move. It turned slowly, like a great beast waking up. As it moved, lights appeared along its hull. Weapon ports opened, revealing the dark mouths of cannons unlike anything in Velthari databases. Sir, they're powering up weapons, Soyon reported. Energy readings are... Sir, these readings are impossible. Their weapons are generating more power than our entire fleet combined. Impossible, Kyungji snapped. No one has weapons more powerful than the Empire. All ships attack formation. Prepare to fire. His 12 destroyers moved into battle positions. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Their plasma cannons could cut through any known armor. Their shields could stop any attack. But as Kyungji watched the human ship prepare for battle, he felt something he hadn't felt in decades. For the first time since joining the Imperial fleet, Admiral Kyungjae felt doubt. The Indomitable hung in space like a promise of violence. Its weapons tracked the Velthari ships with mechanical precision. On its hull, the strange markings seemed to glow in the starlight. All ships report ready to fire, Nari announced. Kyungjae stared at the alien vessel. 300 years of victories had made the Empire confident, but something about this ship, about the calm voice of its captain, made him wonder if today would be different. Fire, he commanded. The 12 Velthari destroyers opened fire at the same time. Bright blue plasma beams shot across space toward the human ship. Each beam carried enough energy to melt through a mountain. The combined firepower should have turned any ship into glowing metal and gas. The plasma beams hit the Indomitable, and something impossible happened. The beams seemed to bend around the ship, flowing past it like water around a rock. The human vessel sat undamaged in the middle of the attack, as if the weapons had never fired at all. What just happened? Kyungjae demanded. Soyon stared at her instruments in shock. Sir, they're shields. They're not like anything we've ever seen. Our plasma beams didn't penetrate. They didn't even weaken the shields. It's like they were absorbed or redirected somehow. Captain Nari checked her own readings. Sir, the energy from our weapons didn't disappear. The readings show it was somehow channeled back into their power systems. Their shields actually got stronger when we hit them. On the human ship, Captain Minjae stood calmly on his bridge. Lieutenant Commander Jiwon sat at the weapons station, her hands moving smoothly over the controls. Engineer Taehyun monitored the power systems from his station. Dr. Chae-young studied the alien ships through her scanners, learning everything she could about their technology. Their plasma weapons are primitive, Taehyun reported. Our adaptive shields handled them easily. We're actually gaining power from their attacks. Understood, Minjae replied. Jiwon, show them what real weapons look like. Yes, sir. Targeting their lead destroyer. Firing railguns. The Indomitable's hull opened in several places. Long metal barrels extended from hidden weapon bays. These weren't energy weapons like the Velthari used. These were kinetic weapons that fired solid metal projectiles at incredible speed. The railguns fired with a sound like thunder. Metal slugs the size of cars shot across space faster than any missile. The Velthari had never seen weapons like this. Their shields were designed to stop energy beams, not solid objects moving at near light speed. The first destroyer took 3 hits before its captain could react. The metal slugs punched through the shields like they weren't there. They tore through the hull, sending pieces of the ship spinning into space. In seconds, the proud warship became a cloud of debris. Impossible, Kyungjae shouted. How did they penetrate our shields? Before anyone could answer, the human ship fired again. This time, different weapons emerged from its hull. These looked like energy cannons, but they fired beams of pure white light instead of blue plasma. The beams hit the second destroyer and did something that made the Velthari crew sick with fear. The white beams passed right through the destroyer's shields and armor, as if they weren't there. The ship didn't explode. Instead, it simply came apart. Metal turned to dust. Systems stopped working. The entire destroyer dissolved into nothing in less than 10 seconds. Sir, that destroyer just vanished, Nari whispered. The weapons somehow broke down the molecular bonds in their hull. The ship was destroyed at the atomic level. Dr. Chae-young smiled on the human bridge. The quantum disruptors are working perfectly. We can adjust the beam frequency to break down any material. Min-jae nodded. Continue firing. Target the next largest ship. The Indomitable began to move as it fought. This was another shock for the Velthari. Ships that big should be slow and clumsy. But the human vessel moved like a fighter craft, spinning and dodging with impossible grace. How is it moving like that? Soyeon demanded. Something that massive can't change direction so quickly. It should tear itself apart. Engineer Tae-hyun heard the question through the communication channel they had tapped. He spoke to Captain Min-jae. Sir, they don't understand our gravity control systems. Their ships still use primitive thrust engines. Let them wonder, Min-jae replied. Activate the micro-jump drive. Suddenly, the Indomitable vanished. For 3 seconds, it was gone completely. Then it reappeared behind the Velthari formation, already firing. 2 more destroyers died before they could turn around. They have short-range teleportation, Hyun-bin shouted. That's impossible. FTL drives can't work at such short distances. The human ship vanished again. This time it appeared above the Velthari fleet, raining down metal slugs and quantum beams. Another destroyer exploded. A 5th ship simply came apart, its crew dead before they knew what happened. Admiral Kyung-ji watched his fleet die with growing horror. In 5 minutes, he had lost 5 ships. The human vessel hadn't taken a single point of damage. This wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. All ships retreat formation, he ordered. Fall back and regroup. But the human ship wouldn't let them go. It appeared next to the fleeing destroyers, weapons firing continuously. The Velthari tried to fight back, but their plasma beams still couldn't penetrate the human shields. Meanwhile, every shot from the Indomitable killed or crippled another Imperial ship. Dr. Chae-young studied the alien vessels as they died. Interesting. Their technology is at least 200 years behind ours. No wonder they rule the galaxy. They've never faced real competition. Sir, Jiwon reported, we have 7 enemy ships remaining. They're trying to form a defensive circle. Let them, Min-jae said calmly. Launch the drones. The Indomitable's hull opened again. This time, hundreds of small objects shot out. Each drone was no bigger than a person, but they moved with deadly purpose. They swarmed around the remaining Velthari ships like angry insects. The drones carried the same quantum disruptors as the main ship. They were too small and fast for the destroyer's weapons to hit. One by one, they attached to the alien hulls and began cutting through them with tiny beams of white light. They're cutting our ships apart. Captain Nari screamed. The drones are slicing through our armor like it's paper. 2 more destroyers came apart under the drone attack. The remaining 5 ships tried to run, but the drones followed them. There was nowhere to hide from weapons that could teleport. Kyung-jae watched his proud fleet destroyed by technology he couldn't understand. Ships that had conquered worlds were being torn apart by weapons that seemed like magic. In 10 minutes, the most powerful patrol fleet in the Outer Rim had been reduced to scrap metal. Sir, we have to retreat, Nari begged. We have to warn the Empire about these humans. All ships emergency jump to hyperspace, Kyung-jae ordered. Maximum speed back to Imperial space. The surviving ships prepared to jump away, but even this didn't go as planned. As they powered up their FTL drives, the human ship appeared one more time. Captain Min-jae's voice came through their communication system. Admiral Kyung-jae, you are free to leave, but understand this. If Imperial ships return to this sector, we will not be so gentle next time. Tell your empire that humanity is no longer hiding. The Velthari ships jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of 7 destroyers. The Indomitable hung alone in space, its weapons powering down. The battle had lasted 12 minutes. Not a single human had been injured. Captain Min-jae looked at his crew. Well done, everyone. Taehyun, damage report. No damage, sir. Our shields are at full power. Actually, they're stronger than when we started, thanks to all the energy we absorbed from their weapons. Good. Chae-young, what did you learn about them? Their technology is primitive, but their ships are well built. They've obviously been the dominant power for a long time. They don't know how to fight opponents with superior technology because they've never had to. Min-jae nodded. Signal Earth Command. Tell them we've made contact with the local empire. Send them all our sensor data on their ships and weapons. As the Indomitable turned toward home, Captain Min-jae thought about what would happen next. The Velthari Empire now knew that humans existed. Soon they would want to know more about this new species that had destroyed their ships so easily. The real war was about to begin. Emperor Velthak sat on his golden throne in the heart of the imperial palace. The throne room was huge, with walls made of black stone and golden decorations everywhere. For 3 centuries, this room had been the center of galactic power. Today, it felt different. Today, fear had entered the palace for the first time. Admiral Kyungjae knelt before the throne, his uniform torn and dirty. Behind him stood General Yujin, the Empire's most feared military commander. Intelligence Director Soo-young watched from the side, her face serious as she studied data on her tablet. "Explain to me again how you lost 7 destroyers to 1 ship," Emperor Velthak said. His voice was cold and dangerous. Kyungjae kept his head down. "Your Majesty, their technology is unlike anything we've ever seen. Their shields absorbed our plasma weapons and made them stronger. Their weapons cut through our armor like it wasn't there. They could teleport short distances and move faster than should be possible for a ship that size." General Yujin stepped forward. She was a tall woman with scars on her face from many battles. "Your Majesty, with respect, this report sounds impossible. No species has technology that advanced. Kyungjae probably faced multiple ships and is too ashamed to admit it." "I wish that were true," Soo-young said, looking up from her tablet. "I've analyzed the battle data from the surviving ships. Everything Kyungjae says is accurate. These humans have weapons and defenses that are at least 200 years ahead of our best technology." The Emperor stood up from his throne. "Show me." Soo-young activated a holographic display in the center of the room. The battle played out in 3 dimensions, showing the human ship destroying Imperial vessels with ease. The Emperor watched in silence as his proud fleet was torn apart in minutes. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our scientists say such technology cannot exist." "Our scientists were wrong," Soo-young replied. "The humans use weapons that work at the atomic level. They can break down any material by disrupting the bonds between atoms. Their shields don't just stop energy attacks. They absorb them and use the power to make themselves stronger." General Yujin studied the hologram. "What about their numbers? How many ships do they have?" "Unknown. We only encountered 1 vessel, but it called itself part of the Earth Defense Force. That suggests they have more ships, possibly many more." Emperor Velthak walked around the hologram, studying the human ship from every angle. "In 300 years, no one has challenged the Empire successfully. Now these humans appear from nowhere and destroy our ships like toys. This cannot be allowed to continue." "Your Majesty," Kyungjae said carefully, "maybe we should try to talk with them, find out what they want." "Talk?" The Emperor's voice rose. "The Empire does not negotiate with aliens. We conquer or we destroy. There is no third option." Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Jae-hyun stood in the war room deep under the Pacific Ocean. The room was filled with computers and large screens showing star charts. Around the table sat the leaders of humanity's military forces, all studying the reports from Captain Minjae's encounter. Commander Minji, head of Earth's Intelligence Division, spoke first. "The Velthari Empire controls over 10,000 worlds. Their military has approximately 50,000 warships of various sizes. They've been the dominant power in this part of the galaxy for centuries." President Dong-hyun looked at the star charts. "How did we miss an empire this large?" "They didn't look in our direction," Admiral Jae-hyun explained. "Earth is in what they consider empty space. They had no reason to explore this far out until now." Chief Engineer Tae-hyun joined the meeting by video link from the Indomitable. "Sir, I've analyzed their technology from the battle. Their ships are well built but primitive. They still use plasma weapons and basic energy shields. No artificial gravity, no quantum computers, no molecular level manufacturing." "How is that possible?" President Dong-hyun asked. "How can they control so much territory with old technology?" Commander Minji answered. "Because they've never faced real opposition. Every species they've encountered has been at their technology level or lower. They win through numbers and ruthless tactics, not superior weapons." "That changes now," Admiral Jae-hyun said grimly. "They know we exist. They'll come looking for us." Dr. Chae-young appeared on another screen from her laboratory. "I've studied their ship designs and battle tactics. They're used to fighting enemies who think like them. They expect standard plasma weapons and energy shields. They have no defense against kinetic weapons or quantum disruptors because they've never needed them." President Dong-hyun leaned back in his chair. "So what do we do? Hide and hope they don't find us?" "That's not an option," Commander Minji said. "My analysis of their behavior patterns shows they always hunt down threats. If we don't act, they'll eventually find Earth and destroy us. Then we fight," Admiral Jae-hyun declared. We've been preparing for this day for 50 years. Our ships are ready. Our weapons are ready. The question is whether we're ready. President Dong-hyun looked around the table. How many ships can we put in space? The defense fleet has 57 ships ready for combat, Admiral Jae-hyun reported. Another 30 are in final construction. We also have the orbital defense platforms around Earth and the outer planets. 57 ships against 50,000. President Dong-hyun said quietly. Those are terrible odds. Numbers don't matter when you have better technology, Tae-hyun said from his screen. One of our destroyers could probably defeat 10 of theirs. The Indomitable could handle 50 enemy ships without breaking a sweat. Commander Minji pulled up new intelligence reports. There's something else. The Empire has a pattern when dealing with resistant species. If they can't conquer them quickly, they don't take prisoners. They destroy entire worlds to make examples. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. This wasn't just about winning a war. This was about the survival of humanity. Back on the Imperial homeworld, Emperor Velthak made his decision. General Yujin, you will take the 7th Conquest Fleet and find this Earth. When you do, you will demonstrate why no one challenges the Velthari Empire. How many ships, Your Majesty? 300. Take the Dominion's Fury as your flagship. I want these humans to see the full power of the Empire before they die, General Yujin bowed. It will be done, Your Majesty. What about prisoners? No prisoners. No survivors. When you're finished, this human species will be extinct. Let their empty worlds serve as a warning to anyone else who thinks they can oppose us. As General Yujin left to prepare her fleet, Intelligence Director Su-young approached the throne. Your Majesty, perhaps we should learn more about their technology before we attack. Knowledge of their weapons could help us develop defenses. Emperor Velthak waved his hand dismissively. 300 ships will be enough. No matter how advanced their technology, they cannot fight the entire Imperial fleet. Su-young bowed and said nothing more. But privately, she wondered if the Emperor was making a mistake. The human ship had destroyed 7 Imperial vessels without taking damage. What if they had more ships like that? What if their entire fleet was that advanced? On Earth, the decision was made. President Dong-hyun authorized Operation Prometheus, the full mobilization of humanity's hidden military forces. Factories that had been disguised as civilian facilities began producing weapons and ships at maximum speed. Defense platforms hidden throughout the solar system came online. The most advanced technology humanity had ever developed was being prepared for war. Admiral Jae-hyun knew that everything depended on the next few weeks. If the Empire found Earth before humanity was ready, the war would be over before it began. But if they could complete their preparations in time, they might have a chance. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. The Empire thought they were hunting a single ship. They were about to encounter an entire civilization built for war. General Yujin's fleet began gathering at the Imperial staging area. 300 of the Empire's finest warships, including massive dreadnoughts and fast attack cruisers. It was enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. But as the ships prepared for departure, none of them knew that they were already being watched. Hidden in the darkness between stars, Captain Haeun's stealth ship Shadow's Edge observed every movement. Her sensors recorded every ship design, every weapon configuration, every communication signal. The hunt for Earth was about to begin, but humanity would not be caught unprepared. General Yujin stood on the bridge of the Dominion's Fury, watching her fleet move through hyperspace. 300 ships traveled together in perfect formation. The sight filled her with pride. This was the largest fleet the Empire had sent against a single enemy in over a century. Admiral Hyunwoo, report on our progress, she commanded. Her second-in-command checked his instruments. We're following the quantum trail left by the human ship. Our scientists say the trail will lead us directly to their homeworld. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. General Yujin smiled. 6 hours until she could destroy these humans and restore the Empire's reputation. No one would dare challenge Imperial power again after witnessing the complete destruction of an entire species. Have all ships run final weapons checks, she ordered. I want maximum firepower ready the moment we arrive at this Earth. What General Yujin didn't know was that her fleet was being watched. Captain Haeun's stealth ship Shadow's Edge followed at a safe distance, invisible to Imperial sensors. Her crew monitored every communication and tracked every ship in the enemy formation. They're definitely heading towards Seoul, reported sensor specialist Kyung-soo. Their tracking technology is better than we thought. Communications officer Yuna looked up from her station. Captain, should we warn Earth Command? Already done, Captain Haeun replied. Admiral Jae-hyun knows they're coming. Our job is to gather intelligence and stay hidden. But staying hidden was becoming harder. The Imperial fleet used advanced scanning technology to search for any threats. Several times the Shadow's Edge had to use emergency maneuvers to avoid detection. On Earth, panic and determination mixed together in equal measure. President Dong-yun addressed the world from his emergency bunker. People gathered around televisions and computers to hear their leader's words. My fellow humans, he began, we face the greatest threat in our history. An alien empire seeks to destroy us simply because we exist. But we will not go quietly into the darkness. For 50 years we have prepared for this moment. Today we discover if our preparations were enough. Around the world, hidden military bases revealed themselves. Massive ships rose from underground hangars. Orbital weapons platforms that had been disguised as space stations showed their true purpose. The asteroid belt suddenly bristled with weapons that had been hidden for decades. Admiral Jae-hyun coordinated the defense from his command ship Terra's Wrath. Captain Min-jae stood beside him, serving as tactical advisor. The human fleet was smaller than the enemy force, but every ship represented the most advanced technology humanity could build. Final count? Admiral Jae-hyun asked. 57 combat ships ready, reported Fleet Operations Officer Sung-min. Orbital defenses are online. Asteroid belt weapon platforms are armed and ready. Good. What about the civilian population? Emergency shelters are at 90% capacity, answered Evacuation Coordinator Soman. The orbital colonies have been evacuated to the outer system. If Earth falls, at least some of humanity will survive. Captain Min-jae studied the tactical displays. Admiral, I recommend we don't wait for them to reach Earth. Let's meet them at the edge of the system. Agreed. All ships prepare to move to defensive positions at the heliopause. As the human fleet prepared for battle, Captain Haeun's stealth ship detected something that changed everything. Captain, Kyung-soo announced, I'm reading a problem with one of their ships. The Imperial vessel Ruthless Blade is falling behind the formation. Captain Haeun studied the readings. Engine problems? Yes, ma'am. Their hyperdrive is fluctuating. They'll have to drop out of hyperspace for repairs. Captain Haeun made a quick decision. This is our chance to learn more about their technology. Yuna, send a coded message to Earth Command. Tell them we're going to capture an Imperial ship. The Shadow's Edge changed course following the damaged Imperial vessel. When the Ruthless Blade dropped out of hyperspace near a small asteroid field, the human stealth ship was ready. Captain Haeun's boarding team was the best Earth had trained. Using personal cloaking devices, they infiltrated the Imperial ship while the crew worked on repairs. Within an hour, they had taken control of the vessel and captured the entire crew. Incredible, said Science Officer In-woo as he studied the Imperial technology. Their computers are using systems we abandoned 30 years ago. Their weapons are powerful but inefficient. No wonder they need so many ships to conquer worlds. The captured Imperial crew was shocked to discover that their captors were human. Commander De-young, the ship's captain, stared at Captain Haeun in disbelief. You look just like us, he said. How is that possible? Evolution works in similar ways throughout the galaxy, Captain Haeun replied. The real question is why your empire wants to destroy us. Because you threaten Imperial power, De-young answered honestly. The Empire cannot allow any species to have better technology. You must be destroyed before others learn that the Empire can be defeated. Captain Haeun studied the alien captain. Despite being from different worlds, they could have been cousins. Your Empire has been unchallenged for so long that you've forgotten how to lose gracefully. The Empire never loses, De-young said with pride. Today might be different, Captain Haeun replied quietly. Meanwhile, General Yujin noticed that one of her ships was missing. Where is the Ruthless Blade? Engine problems, General, Admiral Hyun-woo reported. They dropped out of hyperspace for repairs. They'll catch up with us at the target system. Very well. We don't need them anyway. 300 ships should be enough to destroy one planet. As the Imperial fleet continued toward Earth, the planet itself was transforming. Cities went dark as power was diverted to defensive systems. Massive underground factories worked day and night to produce ammunition and spare parts. Every human prepared for the battle that would determine their species' survival. Dr. Cheyoung worked frantically in her laboratory, studying the data from Captain Heian's capture of the Imperial ship. "Their shield technology is even more primitive than we thought," she reported to Admiral Jae-hyun. "Our quantum disruptors will cut through their defenses like tissue paper." "What about their numbers advantage?" the Admiral asked. "Numbers won't matter if they can't hit us. Our ships are faster, more maneuverable, and much harder to detect. We can pick them off one by one if we're smart about it." Engineer Taehyun had his own surprises ready. "Admiral, I've been working on something special. If we can get close enough to their command ship, I can upload a virus into their computer systems. It will disrupt their communications and targeting systems." "How close?" "Very close. Someone would have to physically connect to their network." Captain Min-jae volunteered immediately. "I can do it. The Indomitable can get close enough." Admiral Jae-hyun shook his head. "Too dangerous. We need you alive. Sir, with respect, this might be our only chance to level the odds. 300 ships is a lot, even for us." As they debated tactics, General Yujin's fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. The Imperial sensors immediately detected the human defensive positions. "General, we're reading multiple contacts throughout the system," reported Sensor Officer Minsu. "They have ships positioned near every planet and major asteroid cluster." General Yujin studied the tactical display. "How many ships?" "Approximately 60, General. But the readings are strange. Their energy signatures are much stronger than expected for ships that size." "Doesn't matter. We outnumber them 5-1. All ships attack formation, target their largest vessels first." But as the Imperial fleet moved into the Sol system, they discovered that humanity had one more surprise waiting. The space between Earth and Mars suddenly filled with new contacts as Captain Heian's stealth ship and dozens of others decloaked. "Sir," Minsu shouted, "there are more ships. They were hiding with some kind of cloaking technology." General Yujin felt the first stirring of doubt. Cloaking technology that could hide entire fleets was beyond anything the Empire possessed. "How many ships are we facing?" "Unknown, General. They could have more ships still hidden. We have no way to detect them." For the first time in her career, General Yujin wondered if she had brought enough ships. But it was too late to retreat. The Imperial fleet was committed to battle. The two fleets faced each other across the darkness of space. 300 Imperial warships against humanity's hidden fleet. Advanced alien technology against human innovation and determination. The battle for Earth was about to begin. General Yujin opened communications to all human ships. "Alien vessels, you are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Admiral Jae-hyun's response was calm and steady. "General, you have entered human space uninvited. You have come here to commit genocide. We will not surrender. We will not retreat. Today you learn why humanity survived long enough to reach the stars." The two commanders stared at each other across the void, each convinced of victory. One of them was about to discover they were very wrong. General Yujin gave the order to attack with complete confidence. 300 Imperial warships opened fire at once, sending thousands of plasma beams across space toward the human fleet. The combined firepower was enough to destroy entire moons. It should have been the end of human resistance. Instead, the humans did something that made the Imperial crews question everything they knew about warfare. The human ships scattered in all directions, moving faster than anything that size should be able to move. They twisted and spun through space like fighters, not capital ships. The plasma beams that should have destroyed them passed harmlessly through empty space. "Impossible," General Yujin shouted. "How are they moving like that?" Admiral Hyunwoo stared at his instruments in shock. "General, their ships are pulling 30 G-forces in those turns. Any crew should be dead from the acceleration. Then why aren't they dead?" On the Terra's Wrath, Admiral Jae-hyun sat calmly in his command chair. The artificial gravity systems kept him and his crew safe, while their ship performed maneuvers that would have killed anyone using older technology. "Taehyun, how are the gravity compensators holding up?" he asked. "Perfect, sir," Engineer Taehyun replied from his station. "We could pull 50 Gs if needed. Their targeting computers can't track us at these speeds." Captain Min-jae studied the tactical display. "Admiral, they're trying to surround us. Permission to show them what our real weapons can do?" "Granted." All ships opened fire. The human fleet revealed its true power. Railguns emerged from hidden bays, firing metal slugs at incredible speeds. Quantum disruptor beams cut across space, passing through Imperial shields like they weren't there. Most terrifying of all, some human ships simply vanished and reappeared behind the enemy formation. The first wave of Imperial ships died in minutes. The metal slugs from human railguns punched through their hulls like paper. The quantum disruptors dissolved their armor at the molecular level. Ships that had conquered worlds for centuries became clouds of glowing gas. "General, we've lost 40 ships in the first attack," Admiral Hyunwoo reported in horror. "Their weapons are cutting through our shields and armor like they don't exist." General Yujin watched her proud fleet being torn apart. "All ships focus fire on their flagship. Concentrate everything on the Terra's wrath." Every surviving Imperial ship turned their weapons toward Admiral Jaehyun's command vessel. Hundreds of plasma beams converged on the human flagship. The combined attack should have vaporized any ship ever built. The beams hit the Terra's wrath, and something beautiful and terrible happened. The human ship's shields didn't just stop the attack, they absorbed it. The energy from hundreds of plasma cannons was captured and converted into power for the human vessel. "Sir, we just absorbed enough energy to power Earth for a month," reported Power Systems Officer Jamin with a grin. "Our shields are now at 300% capacity." Admiral Jaehyun smiled. "Return the favor. Full power to all weapons." The Terra's wrath unleashed a barrage that defied belief. Railguns, quantum disruptors, and gravity bombs fired simultaneously. A dozen Imperial ships simply ceased to exist. Others were torn apart by artificial black holes that appeared and disappeared in seconds. Dr. Chae-young, monitoring the battle from her laboratory, spoke to Captain Min-jae through the communication system. The psychological impact on their crews must be devastating. They've never faced weapons they couldn't understand. She was right. On Imperial ships throughout the fleet, crews were beginning to panic. Their strongest weapons had no effect on the enemy. Their shields couldn't stop human weapons. Ships were dying faster than their sensors could track. "General, we need to retreat," Admiral Hyunwoo begged. "We've lost over 100 ships. Whatever these humans are, we can't fight them." General Yujin's pride wouldn't let her admit defeat. "No retreat. All ships ramming speed. If we can't destroy them with weapons, we'll ram them." But even this desperate tactic failed. The human ships used their teleportation technology to avoid the ramming attacks. Imperial vessels crashed into empty space while human ships appeared behind them and destroyed them with ease. Captain Haeun's stealth ship, Shadow's Edge, had a special mission during the battle. While the main fleet fought, she used her cloaking technology to approach the Dominion's fury undetected. "Kyung-soo, do you have a lock on their communication array?" she asked. "Yes, Captain. I can upload Taehyun's virus directly into their network." "Do it." The virus spread through the Imperial fleet's communication system like wildfire. Suddenly, Imperial ships couldn't talk to each other. Their targeting computers began giving false readings. Some ships started firing on their own allies by mistake. "What's happening to our systems?" General Yujin demanded. "Unknown malfunction, General," replied Technical Officer Sung-jae. "All our computers are acting strange. Communications are down. Weapons targeting is unreliable." The chaos gave the human fleet an even greater advantage. Imperial ships, unable to coordinate, became easy targets for the organized human attack. Wave after wave of alien vessels died under the precise fire of human weapons. After 2 hours of battle, General Yujin had only 50 ships left from her original 300. The space around Earth was filled with the wreckage of Imperial vessels. Not a single human ship had been seriously damaged. "General, we have to surrender," Admiral Hyunwoo pleaded. "We have no chance of victory." Before General Yujin could respond, every screen on her bridge activated at once. Captain Haeun appeared, broadcasting from inside the Dominion's fury. "General Yujin, I am Captain Haeun of the Earth Defense Force. I am currently standing in your engine room. My team has taken control of your flagship." General Yujin spun around to see human soldiers materializing on her bridge, their personal cloaking devices deactivating. They moved with impossible speed and precision, disarming her crew before anyone could react. "How did you get aboard my ship?" General Yujin demanded. "The same way we've been watching your empire for months," Captain Haeun replied. "Your technology cannot detect us when we don't want to be detected." Admiral Jaehyun's voice came through the communication system, reaching every surviving Imperial ship. "General Yujin, you have a choice. Order your remaining ships to surrender or watch them all die. We can destroy your entire fleet without breaking a sweat." General Yujin looked around her bridge. Human soldiers stood calmly among her crew, their weapons ready but not threatening. Through the main screen, she could see the wreckage of her once mighty fleet floating in space. "You've won," she said quietly. "I surrender." "A wise choice," Admiral Jaehyun replied. "Now let me explain something to you. Earth is not just one world with advanced ships. We are the center of a growing interstellar civilization. We have colonies throughout this sector of space, all protected by fleets like the one you just faced." Captain Minjae took over the explanation. "For 50 years, we've been preparing for the day when we would meet other spacefaring species. We hoped for peace, but we prepared for war. Every human ship, every weapon, every defense system was designed with one goal: to defeat a numerically superior enemy." Dr. Chae-young added her analysis. "Your empire controlled the galaxy because you never faced real opposition. Every species you encountered was at your technology level or below. You won through numbers and brutality, not superior science." "That age is over," Admiral Jaehyun declared. "Humanity offers the Velthari Empire a choice. We can coexist peacefully, with respect for each other's territory and rights. Or we can continue this war until your empire is nothing but a memory." General Yu Jin understood the implications. "You're saying you could destroy the entire Imperial fleet?" "If necessary," Captain Haeun answered from the captured flagship. "But we'd prefer not to. There's been enough death already." On the Imperial homeworld, Emperor Velthak received the news of his fleet's defeat with stunned disbelief. Intelligence Director Su-young showed him the battle recordings transmitted by the few surviving ships. 300 ships, the Emperor whispered. "My finest fleet, destroyed by 60 alien vessels." "Your Majesty," Su-young said carefully, "perhaps it's time to consider peace negotiations. These humans clearly have technology far beyond ours. A war with them could destroy the Empire." Emperor Velthak aged 10 years and 10 minutes as he watched the recordings. Ships that had conquered worlds were torn apart like toys. Weapons that had subjugated 1,000 species had no effect on human shields. "Contact the humans," he said finally. "Arrange a meeting. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have pursued our surviving ships. The fact that they let my fleet retreat suggests they might be reasonable." Back in the Sol system, Admiral Jaehyun stood on the bridge of the Terra's Wrath, looking out at the stars. The battle was over, but he knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. "Sir," Communications Officer Minho reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the Imperial homeworld." "They want to arrange peace talks?" Admiral Jaehyun nodded. "Patch me through to President Dong Yun. Tell him the immediate threat is over, but the real work is just beginning." Captain Minjae joined him at the viewing window. "Think they'll actually negotiate in good faith? They'll have to," Admiral Jaehyun replied. "We've just shown them that their empire isn't invincible. For the first time in 3 centuries,